I'm in the second 42, the beautiful second 42 studios under the mimosa tree, because who doesn't like a mimosa in the morning? And I'm here to explain the origin of this YouTube channel. What is Stuck in Huntsville? Who is this guy? The first video on the the first few videos on the channel are more of a cry for help than anything else. Here's a clip from I was in a bad situation, and this is what it sounded like.
Listen, press 1. First saved message. You dumb shit, you can't keep doing this and not get hurt for it badly. In 10 fucking minutes when I call, I want your comment on how you used me for that moment of actually getting a slight little bit of attention and then went overboard on it. So fucking far. Fucking recognize that. And don't treat me badly just because you're sad that you were a loser. Fucking own it, Joel. Fucking recognize. You fucking were a loser. And you still fucking are, but you had a little more opportunity because I was in your life. And I am tired of that getting swept under the fucking rug just because you're too embarrassed to admit it. End of message. Delete. Press 7. Save. Press 9. More options. Press 0. Press 0. Press 0. Press 0. Are you still there? Press 0. Fucking recognize that. So.
Now, to be fair, the marriage was not all just scary rage voicemails. There were good times, too. We had puppies.
Madeline, it's going to be fine. We are going to be just fine. It's not coming to get you. Madeline, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, puppy. We can do this. We just need to walk by it. It's not going to bother you, I promise. Madeline, come on. You can do it. Come on, baby. Face your fears. You're fine. Come on. Just come on. Just walk. Just walk with me. You're not in danger. You are not in danger. Puppy. Puppy. Puppy, come here. Madeline, come here. Madeline, come here. Madeline, come here. You're fine. See, look, you're already past it. Madeline Albright does not like wacky waving arm inflatable tube men.
I really hope that was a firework. I really hope that was a firework. Shots fired. Shots fired. Okay, so then I started doing stand-up comedy in Huntsville. This is my first stand-up comedy set that I ever did. I was on TV when I was 4, and then did theater, and then did radio, and did newspapers and stuff. And then I started stand-up comedy at the ripe old age of 30 goddamn something. I really hope that was a firework. That sounded like a gun. This was my first stand-up set.
This next comic we have coming to the stage, it's my first time seeing him here. I don't know if it's his first time doing comedy. It is his first time doing comedy.
I'm a virgin. I'm a virgin. Be gentle.
He's also a virgin.
Be gentle.
Everybody be very gentle and loving, and just, if he wants you to hold him
Tender.
after, just that's
Tender.
what he needs.
Yeah.
So, give a warm welcome and round of applause to Joel Elliott, everybody.
And how coincidental is it that this is my virginity losing story that I'm coming to you with tonight? Thank you, Rocket City. You guys are amazing. This is a nerdy town. I love it. Huntsville, Alabama. How in the hell did I get here? It's really a little fuzzy. It's been a bumpy ride. But again, my name is Joel Elliott. That's Elliott with 2 L's and 2 T's.
friend me on Facebook or something. That would be terrific. Now that we're all friends, I want to make one thing clear. Rape is not funny. It's hilarious. Okay, now stick with me for a second. Any other people been raped in this bar that want to call themselves out with a show of hands? Okay, you sir. Wonderful. All right, this is going to be awkward. Let me set the scene. I went to Arlington Baptist School in Baltimore City. Okay, this school put the fun in fundamentalism. We're talking 6,000-year-old Earth, no sex till marriage, the whole shebang. And because we're teenagers being told every single day, don't have sex, don't have sex, don't have sex. We talked about sex all the time, you know? I had this friend, Vicky Matthew, we used to have a bet. Can a man be raped, basically, is the bet. And we all know Catholics, so yeah, we know a man can be raped, but we're talking about like traditional, coital, feminist rape. Can a woman rape a man? That was the bet. And my argument was, no, I mean, there are certain things that have to happen, and if I'm thinking like, no, I don't want this, nothing's gonna happen. Her argument is, if she's working hard on it, you got no choice. It's gonna be up, ready, and you know. So we go back and forth on this for like a year, and eventually we're like, okay, until we can prove it, let's just set it at $5. Whoever wins, wins. Okay. So some years later, it's 1996. I'm going to college now. I'm staying in the dorm. I've recently been diagnosed with a debilitating personality disorder. So like my life is just chaos, absolute chaos. I'm washing down heavy psychiatric medication with liquor, which, as you can imagine, did not go too terribly well. So when I get to the college, first thing I do, of course, the first thing they do is gather you into an auditorium, all the freshmen, and it's like the Oprah show. A guy with a big bucket comes out, a bucket full of condoms, just throwing condoms at the kids, you know? Like, you get a condom, and you get a condom, and you get a fist full of condoms. So we're all leaving this, and we're all talking about sex, because somebody just threw a bunch of condoms at our face. And what I decided to do with this is establish a union. Because there are two types of virgins. There's the type of virgin that says, oh, well, I never think about sex at all because I'm going to save this for my true love and when I get married. And then there's the type of virgin that tells the truth, that I'm really horny because I've never had sex. And so I find those virgins and I gather them together and I become the president of the Virgin Whore Union at UMBC. And I was a smart teenage boy, that's right. So, you know, I've gathered all of these virgin girls and a few guys. They were welcome too. And I'm the president of the union. We have meetings, everything. There's like 24 of those. We almost printed shirts. It was really like an official thing, the Virgin Whore Union. So a few months into the union's life, I meet this redhead. And she's very fit, very fit redhead. She comes up to our dorm one night and she's like, hey, I've seen you around. I'm like, yeah, I've seen you around. She's like, I got some vodka. I'm like, oh, do you? And she pulls it out, and it's plastic bottle vodka. I don't know if any of you have ever had vodka out of a plastic bottle. It is the harshest, nastiest thing that you could ever. For some reason, the plastic bottle vodka is just the worst. So we're jamming on this vodka, okay? A couple of the members of the union, and this girl, and me. And at the end of the night, she's like, well, I don't really want to go home. Is it okay if I stay with you tonight? I'm like, sure. Come up to my room. My roommate will be there, so we have to be quiet. And I'm saving myself for marriage, so nothing can happen now. And just keep that in mind. So she agrees. We go up to the room. We get into my little cozy thing. I've got like the bed wrapped in blankets, because again, I've got a severe personality disorder. And so I've got this little bat cave that I've created out of my bunk. And we crawl into that little cocoon. And, we're there snuggling, everything's fine. She starts making moves. And, I'm expecting a little of that, and that's fine. Starts kissing, everything's fine. Then she starts making moves towards other areas. And I'm like, hey, I told you, nothing's going to happen, okay? And she goes, shut up. And this is where I know that I'm in trouble, okay? I'm like, my roommate is right over there. We can't do this. And she goes, shut up. And grabs my head, and moves it to her area, okay? Now, I'm not a gourmet at this time in my life. I'm a complete virgin. I have never gotten into the culinary aspects of sexuality. So, you know, all I know is my face is there, and, you know, my hair is, like, being just torn out by the roots while she's just moving me, you know, she's just using me basically as her sex party toy, you know, thing. And once she's had enough of that, you know, I'm now back on my back. And this is absolutely true, people. I cannot stress that more. She then decides she's going to work on my area. She gets down there and just starts working. And this is where I discovered that Victoria Matthew was right. There is nothing you can do. If she's working hard on it, it's there, okay? So she gets that going, and then she mounts like an animal, you know? And now, all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, I'm having sex now. I was not intending to have sex tonight. And it's happening. So I do the only thing that I can do to empower myself, and I last as long as you, sir, said that you did. I just go ahead and, okay, I'm done. And she keeps trying for another minute or so, but, you know, I'm done. It's over. So she gives up. She flops over. I crawl out of the cocoon once I'm sure she's asleep, and I just wander around aimlessly through the campus for the rest of the night, just bewildered at the whole situation. Morning comes. I go to the room next door. 2 members of the Virgin Whore Union live in that room. I go into the room and I'm like, guys, I got bad news and I got worse news. And they're like, okay, what's the bad news? So I was like, well, I have to resign as president of the Virgin Whore Union. And they were like, oh no, why? What happened? Well, first, what's the worst news? And I said, well, the worst news is I think I got raped last night. And I'm laughing, you can laugh, it's fine. So I ask him, can I use your email? And I pull up an email and address it to Victoria Matthew, and I just say nothing else. I just say, I owe you $5. And the phone call that followed that was pretty great. But okay, so here's the kicker. I go back to my room where my rapist is sleeping, and I pull the curtains to the little cocoon that I've created, and I wake her up, and I say, good morning. And I must have had my best rape face on or something, I don't know. But she looks me dead in the eye and says the most amazing thing a human being has ever said to me in my life. And I grew up in Baltimore City, I've heard some messed up stuff. The exchange literally went like this. I said, good morning. She looks me in the eye and she says, oh, did I rape you last night? Honest to God. She said, did I rape you last night? So this has happened before? Like, this wasn't just like a drunken thing. This is like something you do on a regular basis. It's something I will never forget, obviously, and took a few years of therapy to get through. But I look at it with humor because that's how you survive life, isn't it? You know, the darkest times in your life, if you can't make light of them, you're just not going to make it. I mean, she gave me a gift. She gave me the greatest rape story ever told. So, you know, I have to thank her for that, even though I really, honestly do not remember her name. Thank you, Rocket City. You guys have been great. I have been raped. I have also been Joel Elliott, and honestly, I love you.
Holy shit, you guys. That was the first timer I've ever seen one. First timer talking about his first time, talking about rape. Harsh stuff.
So, like, just weeks after that stand-up comedy set, that was kind of a catalyst, actually, because the spouse did not like it when I got attention. And the fact that, like, 3 people had seen that set on Facebook was enough to start, you know, filing motions and trying to get me out to jail, where I spent 2 months in jail. And man, this is the 2-year anniversary of getting out of jail in a strange town in the South and starting over at life. 2 years now. 2 years I've been running in circles, and we did a lot of shows. I did open mics when I was homeless. Here's me talking about getting back on my feet again. Or, well, getting indoors, at the very least, and getting a job.
Oh. All right, everybody. Here's the treat. Huntsville's #1 homeless comedian, who's not homeless anymore. The system works, people. I'm not sure what system that is, but it's this lets us know anything. It says just keep telling jokes until someone gives you a place to crash, and everything will work out in the end. All right. Come on up here, Joel.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Steve. It is true. That is what I did. I just kept telling jokes until somebody gave me a place to live. I used to call myself out as the #1 homeless comedian in Huntsville, but now that I'm Tristan Huntington, he went out of town. I'm staying at his place until he gets back. Maybe after, if I can tolerate the boy. But yeah, so technically now I'm not #1 at anything. I'm just a comedian, but that's great because being indoors is good. But yeah, my name is Joel Elliott. Elliott is spelled with 2 L's, 2 T's. Look me up on Twitter. That would be great. I spent time at the apartment just for the first time yesterday, and I've been on the streets, like it was like a total of 62 days, of like literally street living and some couch surfing, and I had no privacy, like there's just no privacy when you live on the street. And so when I got to the apartment, the first thing I did, I sat down and I spent like 10 minutes there just like being alone and private. And then the first thing I did was like I got up and I took a walk. I'm like a feral cat. I'm not used to it. I didn't know what to do, and so I got up and I went back outside. Because that's what I know how to do. But yeah, one of our fellow comedians, very funny man, Dustin Morgan, he's going to do some stuff for us tonight. He, when I told him, about I'm staying in this place now, he was like, "Oh man, you're just gonna go nuts, aren't you? You're just gonna like jizz all over the walls, aren't you?" And I was like, you know what? The man raises a good point. Like, I could do that now. And that's something you don't think of. Like you think about hunger and stuff like that with homelessness. You don't think about masturbation. Like it's illegal for homeless people to sleep, but think of how illegal it is for homeless people to jerk off. They're people too. They've got needs that, but, so I was in the apartment, I considered this, but there's, Tristan's got a black light, and so I turned out the lights, I turned on the black light, and I was like, oh, this place came pre-jizzed. So that's something. I got a salad, from Target today, I brought it back to that place, and I was looking around for a fork to eat this salad. Somehow Tristan Huntington has the only apartment that I've ever even visited with no forks. There's utensils, there's plenty of utensils. There's not a single fork in this entire apartment. I've searched everywhere. But the good news is the apartment came stocked with a cute girl in her early 20s. And he lent me his apartment and his girlfriend. That's a nice thing. She stayed there last night, and nothing happened, although start that rumor. Start that rumor. But nothing happened. We sat there, we watched the Turn Down for What video and giggled like schoolgirls. That was pretty much the extent of it. But yeah, so I want to give back to the homeless community. And going back to what we talked about earlier, when I turn things around and really get a whole lot of money saved up, I want to open up a soup kitchen / masturbatorium. Again, they're people too, they're out there humping in tents, guys. There are, I know pregnant homeless women, they are still, having sexual activities. And so, I'm gonna feed them, give them a place to nap, internet connection, and a private room. And we're just gonna hose it down like the back room of the strip club after. I think this is a good idea. I'm not joking anymore. I think this is good. We're definitely going to do that. But yeah, so Stephen was right. Basically how I approached this, I was a professional entertainer for 7 years. And, by professional, I don't mean I got paid. I mean, look at where I'm at. But you know, I was a professional entertainer, and so when I hit the streets, I was like, let's just go with what we know, you know. Like, I just went out, started doing comedy, like, but ferociously, because I was like, this is about life now. And you know, like, I got a lot of friends and all sorts of support from these friends, and you know, like, just because I'm indoors doesn't mean I'm out of the woods. If you catch my drift. You know, so it's like, I can't pay everybody back for all the support that they've given. Like, I owe a whole lot of blowjobs to a whole lot of people. There's no way I can, like, pay it all back. And you know, I kind of feel bad about that. And I've had a couple of people tell me, like, oh, well, when you become a famous comedian, just remember me, that's how you can pay me back. And I'm like, oh man, that is a real bad way to invest. Like, yeah, like, okay, yeah, when I become, because we're all going to be superstars, right? That's what we're doing here in the Huntsville comedy scene. Yeah, really, it is so great. I love you guys so much. It's amazing. I worked this morning in an office. I'm going back tomorrow morning because I impressed them. It's something. We're really turning it around. So yeah, again, my name is Joel Elliott. I am Huntsville, Alabama's #1. I'm not #1 in anything anymore. I'm just a comedian. Just a comedian. But honestly, Huntsville, Alabama, I love you.
So then I started doing bigger shows and raising money for homeless advocacy causes.
She was like almost clinical narcissist level, you know, very controlling, like, you know, moved me down to Alabama and kind of cut me loose. Like, okay, the marriage went so badly, I found out secondhand about the divorce. It's true. The marriage went so badly, it caused damage to public property. Like, I mean that in the sense that, like, if you go down to the grotto area of Big Spring Park, just to the right of the pump house, there's 2 benches there, and the left bench is a whole lot more worn than the right bench. That's because some idiot was sleeping on that for 2 months last year. For the rest of you, some specific idiot who's performing for you on stage right now was sleeping on a bench at Big Spring Park at the end of this marriage. And you know, like, it was a weird thing, because at the time, you know, like, I had an entertainment background and I was doing comedy while I was then sleeping on benches. I was street homeless and doing comedy. I was doing comedy about homelessness. Yeah, chickens crossing roads isn't funny. I know. 500,000 Americans experience it, like, on any given night, but it turns out that if you look at everything, even the darkest things, in the right perspective, you can find humor there. It helped me get through that. The comedy scene, you know, gave me the networking to get on my feet again. It's a weird thing, because now that I am on my feet, people are still like, yeah, do you remember when Joel was homeless and doing comedy? That was really fun, you know, like, I really miss homeless comedy Joel. You know, like, where's homeless Joel? And don't get me wrong, like, I don't manage my finances that well. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. I just don't think it's going to be as charming the second time around.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la la la. No, you're not doing it right. Give me the boughs back. If you're going to deck the halls, deck them right. I'll do it myself. Merry Christmas, everyone. You can sit back. We're not going to sing Christmas songs. That would be ridiculous. We came here to get away from that, didn't we? We came here because there's a rumor. There's a rumor going around that homelessness is over in Huntsville, Alabama. And like, this is a lot like racism is over in America. When I hear people say that, they're like, oh yes, okay, there was a black president. Did you see how we treated him for the last 8 years? Like, you can't say thank you, Obama. You can say thank you, Obama, to his face. But you can't say thanks, Obama, to his face without him just figuring you're sarcastic. I mean, America has been a real dick excuse me, it's a charity show, I'll watch my language. But no, homelessness is not over in Huntsville, Alabama. I have personal friends who live in tents who not only beg to get by, but they beg to differ when it comes to that rumor that homelessness is over. But because of that rumor, people have been giving less donations to the charities in town. And that means that the Rose of Sharon is on the verge of closing. And without your help, you know, they will close. And so thank you for coming out tonight. Give it up for yourselves for coming out. And yeah, absolutely. He was in marriage at the time when that happened, and I saw it, and if you really look deeply into that tweet, it's like part of our dynamic is she'd come home from work and then turn into Jack Nicholson from The Shining, and I'd be Shelley Duvall, and we'd play out that whole dynamic for a while. She'd undrill the doorknob and get at me and yell, and then somehow I would talk her down, and then she'd send me out for pizza, and I would come home, and because she controlled the finances, it was like, oh good, there's going to be pizza, I will eat today, and so like, because you had pizza, hashtag why I stayed meant so much more to me than the DiGiorno people realized. I kind of felt like backing them up there. But yeah, no, if you're in an abusive relationship, get out, it's bad, it's not worth it, don't stay. Sleep on benches if you have to, but don't sleep on the benches in the grotto of Big Spring Park, because they pulled those up. I just realized that. I just saw that the other day, and I kind of felt weird because that was my bedroom for a while, and I was like, they took my bed. I honestly had the thought in my head, I was like, did you throw it away? It was a perfectly good bench. So anyway, I want to dedicate the show tonight to two ladies. Because like I said, I was in a bad marriage, but I don't blame her, you know, like I do still love her because, you know, I don't regret anything, the good and the bad. Let's just say mistakes were made on both sides. You know, like I can't. But I want to bring your host up here because there are two ladies I want to dedicate the show to, one of which can be here tonight, the other of which cannot legally because Madison County prefers we not be in the same room together. Tammy, get up here. I want to dedicate it to the woman who got me off the streets because she's very helpful in helping me network and get to where I was back, you know. But if the microphone wants to cooperate, I also want to dedicate it to my ex-wife because good and the bad, I made my choices and I stuck with it. And if it weren't for my ex-wife, I wouldn't know all of you, and I wouldn't be able to, you know, make a difference in the community and try to help the Rosa Sharon, you know, here in Huntsville. So, thank you. Enjoy these comics tonight. Give it up for your host, Tammy Bucky.
Thank you, doll.
That redhead you saw on stage was Tammy Bucky. She's one of the comedians in Huntsville that is Huntsville based. She actually helped me get that connection to the software company job where I was working for a while and was on my feet and things were good. Tammy won't listen to me. Tammy won't listen to me when I tell her that she's being delusional. But vote for Tammy in 2020 when she runs for president. She's going to run for president. She's serious about it. She's not doing this as an art piece. She really is running for president. And I wish her luck. And I also wish her to find the acceptance to realize that sometimes she does get delusional. She denies it up and down. We argue about that. We did. We haven't spoken in a while. Tammy, I love you, Tammy. You're delusional, but I love you. It's been interesting. I was on my feet for a while. I was hanging out exclusively with comics, and I've been diversifying lately because that can be taxing. Comics are very challenging people. Artists in general are challenging, but comedians. So, you know, I've been diversifying lately. And not entirely on my feet anymore. I lost the job in Ides of March this year. That was a while ago. I was beefing with a guy on Twitter, and the relationship between me and the CEO was degrading as it was, you know. My work was starting to get sloppy. Our communication was not on. And then I started beefing with a guy that, like, you know, the CEO of my company, like, used to be connected to itty bitty city committee. You know, there's some politics around. You know, there's a small political. My work was also getting shoddy. But I was beefing with a guy, and that kind of led to things falling apart. This was the beef.
Oh, Huntsville, Alabama, my God. I call you Huntsville, Alabama because that's a nickname that I came up with for Huntsville, Alabama during the 2 months that I spent in jail after my divorce. Because y'all be fronting in Huntsville, Alabama, even in the jail. All right, even in the jail. And in this parking lot just moments ago. Come on, guys. You're not in the hood. Stop acting like it. My name is Joel Elliott. I come from Baltimore City. I drifted here through an abusive marriage, okay? I lost everything. I had the clothes on my back and a copy of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yes, that's funny. That's not a joke. This local talk show DJ, thank you, turn that down. I'm gonna yell at these people. This local talk show DJ, he's been pulling my pigtails on Twitter. You can follow me at Awkward Handle on Twitter and Periscope. He's been pulling my pigtails because he's got a crush on me, and gay marriage is legal now, and he thinks he has a shot. And he's been thinking that this thing that he's doing with me on Twitter is a beef, just like that boy in the parking lot just now. He thought he was beefing. And I wanted to teach everybody what beef is. Because I knew crack salesmen back in the day in Baltimore. I mean people who sold crack, not people who were good at it. They know beef. Beef is not what Jay said to Nas. Beef is having trouble with your fucking phone because you're a hack and a loser. Because you just recently lost everything. You had nothing but the... So, no, I lean into the pathos. It's actually a part of my shtick. You know? Dude was like making fun of me. He's like, you're so pathetic. Yeah, I know. I'm a stand-up comic. You're not telling me anything I don't know. Anyway, I knew two dudes that sold crack in Baltimore. Not because they were lazy and didn't want jobs. Because they wanted to get out of a trap. They didn't have as much opportunity. Guess what? They were black. T-Rock and Shogun, they didn't make it out of Baltimore. T-Rock, he became a performer. Shogun, he didn't make it out of Baltimore because beef, okay? Beef is not what Jay said to Nas. Beef is when the working folks can't find jobs. So they're trying to find a mojo to rob, trying to find a bigger gun so they can finish a job. Beef is when the crack babies can't find moms because they're in a pine box or locked behind bars. Beef ain't the summer jam for Hot 97. Beef is a cocaine and AIDS epidemic. Beef don't come with a radio edit. Beef is when the judge is calling you defendant. Beef, it come with a 2-month sentence handed down to you in a few short minutes. Beef is when your girl comes through for a visit, tell you how she's pregnant by some other mojo. Beef is high blood pressure and bad credit, need a loan for your home but you're too broke to get it. And all your little kids is doing is getting bigger, trying to raise them around these wild mojos. Beef is when a gold digger got your seed in a manicure handout like, pay me mojo. Oh, I'm telling your wife is starting up some foul rumors that'll ruin your life. Beef is when a gangster ain't doing it right and other gangsters done decided what to do with his life. Beef is not what these famous mojos do on the mic. Beef is what George Bush would do in a fight. Beef is Miss Wallace still don't know who shot Biggie. And beef is Shogun not being here with me. When a soldier ends his life with his own gun. Beef is trying to figure out what to tell his son. Beef is oil prices and geopolitics. Beef is Iraq, West Bank, and Gaza Strip. Some beef is big and some beef is small, but for y'all call beef is no beef at all. Beef is real life happening every day, and it's realer than those talk shows you fake DJs play with. This has been an Ego Pop PSA from @AwkwardHandle. Follow me on Twitter and Periscope. This dude, Dale, I think is his name. You can find him on 1320 AM WASS, I think. I don't know. He watches my show. I don't watch his. Nobody can watch his. It's radio. He's got a face for it. I've seen his picture because I have people who look into this shit. I got this lawyer. He's mentally ill, like all of my fans. Dude, you made fun of a person for talking about mental health awareness on stage. Do you realize the military runs Huntsville, Alabama? Do you know how many people come back from the military mentally ill? Do you get what you're doing, Dale? You made fun of me for being an abused spouse, alright? That's where you took it personal. Well, you were like, oh, you're so pathetic, your wife knocked your teeth out. Dale, I wasn't kidding about that crap, alright? I lived through some shit. You don't know beef, alright? You know, guys, instead of dropping the mic, I really gotta come clean about something. Dale and I have been playing Huntsville for Fools. Okay, the beef on Twitter, if you saw it, the beef on Twitter with Mojo was real. Okay, it was real. But people got concerned that people would get embarrassed, and Dale messaged me on Sunday. Dale and I have a mutual friend. He helped me raise money for the homeless in 2014. He's just a character, you know. He's doing an act. And he messaged me on Facebook and said, hey, let's take the heat off of Mojo and let's you and I have a fake beef. And like, I've been playing Huntsville for Fools for like 3 days on, three days on Twitter, and like typically I do honest performances and I feel really bad and I want to apologize to Huntsville. And I want to leave you with this. There's a young comedian named Bo Burnham who has a special. Yes, you've seen it. It's called What? Period. In that special he says, art is a lie. Nothing is real. I'll leave you to figure out what the truth is here. My name is Joel Elliott. Coppertop, you have been great. I, on the other hand, am messing with your head.
So after that whole period of, you know, like losing the job that got me back on my feet and all of that, I kind of lost my mind a little. We made a lot of shows. A ton of shows. There's a web series, a series of Courtship, a Conversation. That one went down the rabbit hole. We made a lot of shows. And we're going to keep making shows. Working again, part-time. It's not much, but it's something. Oh, and I'll see you at the Coppertop tonight for open mic. Like anybody. The 3 people who watch this video before the Coppertop open mic happens Wednesday night at 8 p.m. in Huntsville, Alabama, I'll see you there. Gonna talk about jail, finally. It's the 2-year anniversary of getting out of jail. Yay! Throw some confetti or tiny marshmallows or something.
safe place that I just built the other day because I was feeling threatened.
It's important to have a safe place. To have a place where you feel secure.
When his act loses popularity, he is left free to starve himself to death. The twist comes when he lays dying in anonymity. The twist, dying in anonymity. Dying in anonymity. Regretfully admitting, dying in anonymity, that his art has always been a fraud. one morning, he was arrested, dying in anonymity, and made to go through a bewildering process where neither the cause of his arrest nor the nature of the judicial proceedings are made clear to him. He is left free to starve himself to death, regretfully admitting that his art has always been a fraud. He is left free to starve himself to death. He is left free to explore the relationships between systems of arbitrary power and the individuals caught up in them. When his act loses popularity, he is left free to starve himself to death. He is left free He is left free. And often the whole ordeal turns out to be so disorienting and illogical that success becomes pointless in the first place.